All species evolved to increase their reproductive fitness, which is also known as Darwinian fitness. In simple words, every species has to tackle the life-threatening challenges and competition posed by other species or the nature and make sure their species are not extinct and reproduce effectively. Likewise, a student gets conditioned by continuous testing and by focusing on process improvement. Similarly, all other living organisms which have thrived for millions of years have been conditioned to have maximum fitness for survival. Let us understand what are the various fitness mechanisms these species pick up to survive and evolve. It is important for an organism to respond to changes caused by biotic and abiotic factors to survive. Ecologists believe that constraining biotic and abiotic factor contribute to evolution of organism. For example, take the abiotic factor water. Let's limit its availability, that is, a desert where water is minimal. So, under this constrained abiotic factor, how does some rats and rodents survive? They have long loops of Henle in kidneys which produce very concentrated urine. In this way, they don't lose much water from their body. So, as per Darwinian's fitness theory, population evolves to maximize their reproductive fitness in their habitats. Other survival mechanisms include reproducing only once in lifetime, as in case of bamboo, breeding several times in the lifetime, or producing exceedingly small number of offsprings, or producing exceptionally substantial number of offspring. We have seen the different survival mechanisms. Is it possible to pick which will be the best suitable one? Considering the diversity in species and factors affecting it, we cannot choose one mechanism as best. There are different mechanisms. These organisms also interact with each other to achieve maximum fitness. Now let us see the types and examples of population interaction. To start with, let us understand the meaning of the term population interaction. Population interaction is the interaction between distinct species of organism in an ecosystem and the effects they have on each other. Can you think of any examples in which two species interact with each other? Let's see some examples. Species interact with each other in 5 ways. Some are positive while some are negative. They are predation, competition, parasitism, commensalism, and mutualism. Let us understand predation first. What comes to your mind when you hear the word predator or predation? One classic example of this relationship is the lion and the deer. Now let us understand how this relationship works. Predation is an interaction method in which one organism, that is predator, feed on another called prey to fulfill its nutrition requirement. It is the way nutrition flows from lower trophic level to higher trophic level, such as animals. Predators also maintain the balance of ecosystem by keeping the prey count within limit. Prey becomes invasive species when it spread without control. For example, invasion of the species prickly pear cactus introduced in Australia spread without control. The count was brought down by introducing cactus feeding predator, a moth. Predation is also helpful in agriculture where biological control of pests can be done. It helps in maintaining species diversity by checking competition among prey. For example, when American Pacific coast starfish, Pisaster, a predator, was removed, it led to extinction of 10 other prey species due to interspecific competition. When predators overexploit prey, then that is also a problem. It can lead to extinction of prey, eventually leading to extinction of predators. It is natural for prey to develop mechanisms to resist predators. Let us see what those are. Prey species have developed defense mechanisms to protect themselves from the predators. Some species of frogs are cryptically colored, that is camouflage, to avoid being seen. Some are poisonous. The monarch butterfly is distasteful to its predator. Some secretes toxic chemicals. Example, Calotropis plant produce poisonous cardiac glycosides to keep away animals. The caffeine produced by plants is a product of defense mechanism. Other toxins such as nicotine, quinine, opium used for commercial sales were produced by plants as defense mechanism. Now, let us see competition among organisms. Competition can be best defined as a process in which the fitness of one species is lower in the presence of another competing species when they have common resource. Competition is considered as significant force in organic evolution as per Darwin. Now, what are the criterions for competition to occur? Competition can be both between related and unrelated species. Flamingos and fishes competing for zooplankton in a lake is an example for competition between unrelated species. Whereas related species competition is that of two brown bears competing for the same piece of meat. Resource need not be limited for competition to occur. It can happen otherwise too. Competition can have two effects. They can be competitive exclusion or competitive release. But do these always happens? Let's see. If resources are limited, then dominant competitor tend to exclude weak competitor from the zone. This is called competitive exclusion. However, competitive exclusion principle is not always conclusive. Now, let us understand what is competition release. It is discovered that a species whose distribution is constrained to a narrow geographical area due to the presence of a competitively superior species expand its distribution range when the rival species is experimentally eliminated. This is called as competitive release. There are two experiments related to these concepts of release and exclusion. Let's figure them out one by one. First experiment is Kernel's elegant experiment. Kernel's elegant experiment is about competitive exclusion. In Elegant's field experiment, he shows that superior barnacle Belanus dominated the intertidal area and excluded smaller and inferior barnacle Cathamalus. Another experiment was Gauss competitive exclusion principle. This principle states that two closely related species competing for the same resource cannot coexist and the inferior one will be eventually eliminated. This can be true only if the resource is limited. Recent studies do not support this principle. Now, can you say what is resource partitioning? Species facing competition might evolve mechanisms such as resource partitioning to promote coexistence than exclusion. MacArthur showed in his experiment that 5 related species of warblers living on the same tree avoided competition due to the behavioral difference in their feeding activities. They partitioned the resource and coexisted. We have understood various aspects of competitions. Let us introspect what happens in a relationship between species that shows parasitic interaction. Can you recall any parasites? In parasitic mode of interaction, one organism is benefited and one is harmed. These parasites have evolved mechanisms to make the best use of interactions. Let us understand them. Parasites evolved to be host specific. During their evolution, both host and parasite evolved to survive. For example, when hosts develop mechanisms to resist the parasites develop mechanisms to counteract or neutralize them. Let us see some special mechanisms adapted by parasites. Losing unnecessary sense organs, developing suckers or adhesive organs to fixate on host, increasing reproductive capacity, loss of digestive systems. These are the adaptations shown by parasites. Now, do you think parasites only live outside the body? Can you recall any parasite living inside the body? Basically, there are 2 types of parasites: endoparasites and ectoparasites. The first type for discussion is endoparasite. Parasites that live inside host, that is in the kidney, lungs or RBCs, are endoparasites. They have complex life cycle to sustain inside the host. They have simplified anatomy and morphology and have specialized reproductive capacity. Now, let us see what are ectoparasites. Ectoparasites are the one found in the external surface of host. Ticks on animals, lice on humans, etc. are ectoparasites. We have seen endoparasites and ectoparasite. Let us see an interesting example of parasitism called as brood parasitism. It is a type of parasitism where birds lay its egg in the nest of other host birds. The eggs of the parasitic birds grow similar to the host eggs to avoid getting ejected. Now that you have a clear idea on what is parasitism, let us understand the next type, that is commensalism. Commensalism is a method of interaction where one species gets benefited while the other one is neither harmed nor benefited. For example, orchids growing as an epiphyte on a mango branch, where orchids get benefited because they grow on the mango plant, whereas the mango plant is neither benefited nor harmed. The next example is barnacles growing on a whale. Barnacles get benefit from it, whereas the whale is neither benefited nor harmed. Another example is cattle egrets. Cattle egrets are seen in close association with cattle. As cattle move, it stirs up insect which the egrets eat. Have you seen the movie Finding Nemo? The Nemo shown is a clownfish, and you have seen in the movie that it sleeps in between the tentacles of the sea anemone. There is an interaction between clownfish and sea anemone where the fish gets protection from the predator when it hides between the tentacles of the sea anemone, and sea anemone does not get any benefit from it. Now that we have a good idea about commensalism, let us try to understand the last type of interaction, which is mutualism. Mutualism is an interaction in which both species benefits. Lichen is an example of mutualism where fungus and cyanobacteria are in mutualistic relationship. Mycorrhiza is another example of mutualism. Association between fungi and roots of higher plants is seen in mycorrhiza. Here, the plant provides the fungi with carbohydrates, and in turn, the fungi help to increase water and nutrients absorption by the plant. That was about mutualism. Let us now understand how evolution has supported various species in this process. Most prominent example for highly evolved mutualism is plant-animal mutualism. Plant provide nectar and receive pollination benefits in return. Coevolution of mutualists are tightly interlinked with one another. In fig species, only a certain type of pollinating wasp partners can pollinate the fig. The fig plant in turn provide oviposition site and seeds for nourishing larvae. Orchids have floral patterns to attract right pollinating insects. Mediterranean orchids sexually deceives species of bees by resembling bee's partner to get pollinated. Hence, if the plant needs benefit, it has to pay in return to the animals that provide benefit to the plants. Therefore, in this interaction, both the individuals get the benefit. Thus, we have seen how evolution has facilitated survival by providing fitness and the types of interaction between organisms. This system of interaction is complex to a larger scale, and there are several elements involved in this process. We shall discuss the same in our next session. Let's now summarize what we have learned.
Manorama Horizon. Learning made simple.